Hello, welcome to my channel. Today we're looking into the disappearance of Lucille Mae Grenz, and she went missing, it says March 30th, 1962 from Toledo, Oregon. She was 40 years old, very small, about 5'1" to 5'2", 110 pounds. She was wearing a dress, it said she had red hair and blue eyes. She may have used the last name Vaughn. She was last seen in Toledo, Oregon, March 30th, 1962. She lived with her 16-year-old daughter in the 100 block of Northwest 6th Street. She has never been heard from again. But I don't know, the way they worded it's odd. A day later, her daughter became concerned by Grenz's absence and called her aunt, who lived in Salem, Oregon. It wasn't for another day or two that the police were notified, however. She had previously been married 8 times, and she left home before without warning. Shortly before her disappearance, she had recently quit her store clerk job. She was in the process of moving to Seattle, Washington, where her boyfriend lived. Because of these circumstances, the police initially didn't take her disappearance seriously. May 22nd, almost 2 months after her disappearance, her daughter and the girl's foster mother went to Grenz's home to get some clothes and noticed evidence of foul play in the bedroom. The room was in disarray. The bedclothes, mattress, and drapes were all missing. How do you take the mattress out of the house with nobody noticing? And there was human blood spattered on the walls, floors, and ceiling. Her boyfriend was questioned and stated he hadn't seen her and didn't know her whereabouts. Authorities noticed there were blood stains in the trunk of his car, this says. He said he didn't know how they got there. Foul play is suspected in her case. She left all her clothing and belongings behind, and her case remains unsolved. And I don't know how they get all this information to put on their webpage, but it's pretty interesting. So I got a subscription for newspapers.com today. I don't know if I'll keep it, but I have it for now because I was trying to find out where they got all that information. And this one I pulled up before I got the subscription. It says police are continuing a search for her, missing from her home since March 30th, and expects fear she may have met with foul play. And it says that laboratory tests have shown that blood found splashed throughout the bedroom of her home is human blood. Bedding, the mattress from her bed, the drapes, and the bedroom were missing, but officers said that all the woman's clothing and her personal belongings were intact. An investigation by the state police and Lincoln County Sheriff's officers has spread as far as Seattle, and there has been no indication of her whereabouts, this says. And this one I also got before I got the subscription, and it says police are continuing a search for her. Pretty much says the same thing. So, and then this one, it says the boyfriend told police the last time he saw her, she told him she was going to a tavern to drink with friends. So, did he get angry or mad and not jealous rage or what? So, and this one says there was blood splattered on the floor. See, it's one thing when you say it's blood spatter, and sometimes you say it was splattered in places, but then they talk about the pattern of it as a spatter instead of a splatter. So it's anyway. It was about 7 weeks later that the investigation swung into full operation. Well, by then you're not going to find nothing, right? But apparently they did. And then it talks about the blood and the ceiling, the bed clothing, the mattress, the blood evidence. And so it says that she didn't leave voluntarily with the blood evidence, and they took the mattress, so of course the mattress was probably covered in blood. So yeah. And then it talks about how their investigation is continuing, but further progress hinges on one of 3 developments: an outside clue as to her whereabouts, a determination that if she's alive, or a discovery of her body. So they didn't find her body. So, and here's another look at it. So we're going to look at a couple of Jane Does. And there's this one, I really couldn't find that many Jane Does. So, and I don't know if any of them could be her, because I would think that whatever they did with her body, they probably didn't take it that far, right? So this one was found in Colorado, 1950 to 1970 was the estimated date of death. 20 to 49 years old, female. It was found January 1st, 1970, and they believe they died sometime between 1950 and 1970. And the skull was turned over to the police in Texas. So maybe that has to do with DNA research or something like that. And then we have this one. And this one, just the face kind of reminded me of her. See, there's her face. See how her face is shaped? And then we'll look at her, and that's how her face is shaped. So this one was discovered in 1964. It just says years prior. So that, to me, I can't tell how many years prior that was. Because, shoot, 1962, 1964, maybe, right? But Delaware is a long ways away, so I don't think so. But ages 20 to 45 years old. They could have been black and or white. They don't know their weight or their height or anything like that. They just found partial skeletal remains. 2 teenage boys found it when they were rummaging through a Georgetown dump on Route 319 for bicycle parts. They found a human skull near a pile of burned trash. And Delaware seems like it's an awful long ways away. But it does seem likely that he might have taken her remains to some sort of a dump or something, or whoever killed her. Because what are you going to do with a mattress and blankets covered in blood, right? And they haven't found her, and they have no idea what happened to her. So if you've heard any information over the years, because, people sometimes they start drinking and they start talking, and people don't believe them because they think they're drunk, but sometimes they're telling the truth. Even it's been so many years though, right? And so I don't know if there's anybody alive that would remember this lady, or knew her boyfriend, or has information. But I think it's important, for people to, like I said, the reason that we do this, one of the reasons, we're hoping to spark new interest and conversations into missing persons cases. So as you recall these cases, you may recall information that you had forgotten about, or that you had not given to investigators in the past, or you realize information that you gave them in the past that perhaps you may want to give it to the current investigators in case they no longer have that information. Perhaps information that you once thought it was irrelevant, and now you think maybe it might be useful, and that way it might help more cases to get solved so that their loved ones can have closures, and anyway, because there's people out there that still have hope of finding out what happened to their loved ones, so that, or getting their remains, even if it's skeletal remains, so they can have them cremated, and maybe have their ashes put in a necklace or on their mantle, or have them scattered somewhere and have a memorial service. Each missing person, their case deserves to have attention and hopefully be solved. So if you have any information, even if you gave that information to the detectives years ago, or you're not sure if you did, or you're not sure if it's important, please contact law enforcement and give them that information. You got to realize they may not have this information anymore, even if you gave it to them years ago, because it's gone through investigator after investigator after investigator, and one of them might have been just going by memory, one of them might have been taking notes, and they may not have that information anymore because they've gone, and then they've had different software programs that they've put information in, and sometimes they've crashed. So anyway, and sometimes people are afraid to come forward with that information, or they know the person who did it, and they feel like they have so much value to them, and they feel like they have more value to them than the person who maybe was their victim, and they haven't come forward because they don't consider that the victim is the person who is more valuable. That's what I would think. So, and hopefully you have enough empathy towards this woman now that if you do have information that you'll come forward. Or if you were afraid to in the past, maybe you're not afraid to anymore. But if you have any information at all, please contact authorities about this case or any other case. And don't forget to pray for her loved ones and her family. And thank you so much for tuning in, and have a great day. Bye-bye.